All right, and we are back with our next interview. So one of the things that we've been kind of looking around going, all right, who haven't we spoken with so far? We want to try and get as many different viewpoints on the show over the course of these last 3 days. And we realized we hadn't really spoken with some of the destination exhibitors. So now I am being joined by...
Good afternoon. I'm Melissa Riley, Vice President of Convention Sales and Services with Destination DC. We're the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Washington, D.C.
See, I'm so glad that you said, because I never would have remembered all of that, and it's great that you were able to get it. So from in this way, an international perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because we're here in Frankfurt instead of the IMEX America. Let's talk about the decision that is behind deciding to come to a show like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have been participating in IMEX Frankfurt and IMEX America for quite a long time now. We, as a destination, are an international destination, but it's been interesting to see the way that IMEX Frankfurt has evolved over the past few years, especially, and they have had a concerted effort to bring more American buyers on the show floor and diversify a little bit more into the association market too. So we've seen a little bit of an uptick in that. The reason that we originally started to come to Frankfurt really was for that international perspective. It was a very unique subset of client, ones that we didn't traditionally have in Washington, D.C. So a lot of incentive market, a lot of corporate marketplace. But like I said, we've seen a little bit of a transition, which has been great because the diversity of the buyer is so vast here. And then America, obviously, is our largest show participation, followed by Frankfurt.
I have noticed that the booths vary in size greatly for the U.S. destinations. You know, what they're going to have in Vegas versus what they have here. A little smaller, a little more compact here.
Yeah. Well, it is an investment. You know, it's an investment in your people as well to get them here. But it certainly has returned ROI for us time and time again.
And so when we look at just the logistics behind getting people and things here, there's a lot behind that. Can you talk about any of the challenges that you faced in coming this far to do a show? And then how do you kind of overcome them?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a challenge in the sense of place. You know, being a global destination like Washington, obviously we do business around the world. So for us, it isn't necessarily a challenge. It's a greater opportunity for us because we just make, we make do. We make the travel arrangements. Culturally, we're very much aware of how to do business in different marketplaces, which if you're a first-time exhibitor or contemplating, you certainly have to understand that. But, quite frankly, once you get on the show floor, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, as long as you are a supplier and there's buyers there and there's business to be done, there's a lot of opportunity.
And obviously a fair amount of international events in that area for various reasons here and there. So do you find that you're then picking up things that you maybe didn't expect? It's like, you should come here, those kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think where I've seen a lot of change is not certainly on the floor with the type of buyer, as I indicated, but IMEX has really invested a lot in their education now. Education Monday has become so much more popular and has given us just an added value in terms of being able to, not just myself, but my team as a whole, learning, worldwide trends and what's going on in the industry, and, different areas of focus and impact that are, or challenges that are occurring in our industry right now. And so I think the education platform has become far more substantial than it ever has in the past. They did, I believe last year, IMEX launched their Women's Forum, which, in this day and age has become quite a popular topic. And just subject matters such as that just continue to elevate IMEX's presence and why we should be here, whether it's international or domestic.
It sounds like that, not only are you getting the benefit of, by improving that educational and improving those conversations, I would think it's attracting more attendees and attracting higher quality attendees as well. So you get the benefit as the destination, but then also your team getting to take part in those conversations and be a part of those conversations as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I think as you mentioned, the quality is really something to be noted. I think that we're diluting maybe perhaps a little bit in our industry the amount of events. We're all stretched for time, and being able to commit to everything. So we really do have to be selective in who and what we choose to participate in. So if there's a whole product, if one organization like IMEX can give us that entire product in one suite 2 times a year, that's great for us. It gives us the most impact and the most ROI that we could hope for.
What's been kind of the most surprising thing as you've seen it evolve over those years? Has it been the conversation? Is there something beyond that?
It's a great question. I think the impact of meetings and events has become far more substantial of a conversation. It isn't just the old days of, hey, come in, let's relationship build, let's figure out what your dates, rates, and space are. It really has, our industry as a whole has elevated in what it means to do business. You hear the term business event strategist nowadays because we, I think as an industry, have a greater opportunity to showcase the economic impact, both societal and, true dollar to a destination or to a hotel company or whatever your specific industry sector is. And so I think the awareness around business events has really changed, and therefore we've seen a lot of gain in popularity from destinations who realize, the great resource that we are in terms of an economic development catalyst. So I think that's probably where we've seen the most, change and advantage.
So I always tell people it's the biggest little industry you've never heard of.
That's exactly right.
It's a massive industry with all of this benefit to both society and GDP and all this kind of stuff. Do you, and I can't remember now as we were down there at your booth, a lot of the destinations have kind of the sub-brands or hotels. Did you have those with you? Yeah,
we do. And that makes us really well-rounded and very successful. So within the Destination DC booth, we have hotel partners and we have a DMC partner with us. And then, of course, we bring our convention center, Congress Center partners with us as well. And so it just creates a whole forum because 9 times out of 10 when somebody comes to the booth, they're just not looking to solve one singular issue. Sure, as the destination expert and the subject matter expert, we can kind of inform them, but it's great if you actually have somebody there who they can talk to one-on-one and get all of their business taken care of and check all those boxes off at once.
All right, I'm gonna buzzword you now. So there's been a lot more conversation lately in our industry about ROI.
Yeah.
So other than the quality of the experience and the quality of leads, how are you guys measuring that? How are you able to actually say, yep, we got this number of leads, and not only that, but they're X% likely to happen, or those kinds of things? How is it being actually measured?
Well, I think it's twofold. We have a very traditional way of measuring it. Like you said, it's how many leads, is it quality, total number of room nights, which is a very, very traditional way of looking at things. But not only that, I think that the engagement that happens off the show floor is equally as important. For example, I sit on the Global Destination Sustainability Advisory Board. So meeting with my counterparts where there's peer-to-peer exchange, to me, is equally as valuable. And also it's about our leadership being able to connect on a global scale, learning best practices from around the world. So you have, the way that we look at it is twofold. It's the networking and the connections that we make through our ancillary, activity. And then there's your traditional, ROI in terms of room nights and lead generation. And it depends on the stakeholder that we're talking to, who we tell what story
Hotel
to.
Versus,
yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, and I think that's a great point, that depending on who you are and how you're attached to that destination, what a win for you is very different.
Absolutely.
For you guys, it might be just overall how much are we bringing into the area, or maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, a little bit.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Some of this is out of my scope, which is why I enjoy having these
sure.
conversations, so I can actually learn these things. versus a hotel versus a destination,
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Yeah, and we also this week while we've been here, we've convened our advisory board, which we call IBEC. It's our International Business Events Council, and so we convene this, our advisors, and have rolled out a few initiatives as well. So this is our opportunity to engage with our customers who can help inform some of our strategic decisions for the future. So again, this is a one central location, one central place where we can accomplish all of this in a very, defined 4-day time period. And so we actually, if you look at the amount of business that's actually done, from 8 a.m. until 2 a.m., it's quite extraordinary, the platform that IMEX gives us to be able to achieve all of that.
And it really is amazing. I mean, pretty much every vendor that we speak to is like, oh yeah, we get business done at these shows.
Yeah, and then we sleep for 3 days
Yes,
when we get
exactly.
home.
if we're lucky, unless you're bouncing onto something else.
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds like not only the destination, but you personally are very internationally connected through the organizations and things like that. So I would imagine coming to a show like this gives you an opportunity to kind of nurture those relationships. If you could just take a moment to speak to a little bit how the opportunities present themselves for those kinds of things.
Yeah. I think that's the best part of the show. Of course, we have to justify the business aspect. For me personally, it is the network and the relationships that we've built. Our organization started our international program about 8 years ago now. And so it's been a steady progress towards where we have been able to, come today. And over the years, it really has been those relationships that have helped, further our messaging and propel what we've done. And it's sometimes they're, just friends that you've gained along the way. Sometimes it's business relationships that you've gained along the way. But at the end of the day, they all contribute, I think, to a greater personal and professional development. And that's really, you come one time to Frankfurt a year, and sometimes you don't see these people outside of that, 1 week period. And it's pretty extraordinary, the friends and the network that you've been able to build throughout the world. And it's one of the things that I certainly cherish the most. But it does come organically. Sometimes it's because you stand next to somebody at the booth for 3 straight days. And, come Thursday afternoon when things tend to get a little more quiet, then you have the opportunity to engage and chat with your counterparts. And there's, certainly the industry events that happen, individually or that are part of the official program that, the networking and everything that we are afforded is just a great opportunity to continue to grow.
And when some idiot comes up and says, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? You know who you need to speak to, is this person right over here.
Exactly.
Well, I told you it would be painless. I hope it has been painless. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. If people want to find out more about DC area, where can they check out?
Sure. So Washington.org, www.washington.org is our official website for Destination DC. So all things Washington. And you could certainly reach me as well at melissa@washington.org if you're interested in finding out more about the destination.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll have more interviews coming up in just a moment.